So, Furina and Lyney are really freaking good together. I have seen some impressions that Lyney and Furina aren't good together because Lyney wants a triple pyro team for his damage bonus buff. However, Lyney can use triple pyro and still use Furina as the fourth slot. The idea that we are going for here is, because Furina's Hydro application is relatively slow and spaced out, we can ensure that there is still Pyro Aura when Lyney hits to get his buff, and also to ensure that there is constantly a Pyro Aura for Furina to vaporize off of. The team for this is Lyney, Furina, Bennett, Xiangling. It is very important to use this exact team and don't change any of the units. Xiangling is the only Pyro unit that will apply Pyro fast enough to reliably sustain the Pyro Aura for this. But how good is this? Well, let's take a quick look at the math. Assuming you get in 3 charged attacks, I get the team doing about 1.7 million damage per rotation, and about 86k DPS. That is really freaking good. The team's damage is so high because Xiangling is Xiangling, so she's naturally gonna do a lot of damage by being buffed by both Bennett and Furina. And then Furina is of course going to do a lot of damage with Vaporize. And Lyney also just does a lot of damage in general. In fact, I think a lot of players still don't realize just how much damage he does. He is also good at generating fanfare points, because his charged attack drains his HP for fanfare, and then that drain will also cause Bennett to heal it back, resulting in even more fanfare. And then, this team is capable of rotating in about 20 seconds, which is why the DPS ends up so high. Now, because this is a shieldless Lyney team, getting in all 3 charged attacks isn't always going to be feasible. But even if you can't get in all 3 charged attacks, the team is still really good. Against aggressive enemies that won't let you pull off all 3 charged attacks, you can just get in like 1 or 2, but then still get in your burst and skill for really high front-loaded damage. To put it into perspective how much damage Lyney can front-load, just by doing 1 charged attack, his burst, and then his skill, that can come out to like 600,000 damage with just like 5 to 6 seconds of fill time on Lyney, and only being prone to interruption during like 2 seconds of that. And if you have Lyney C1, that front load can go up to like 700,000 instead. And then you can just spend the rest of the rotation using Bennett's skill for energy, and rotating everyone through Bennett's burst to get healed. As you'll see in the footage, I was able to play this against one of the most aggressive enemies in the entire game, Coppelia, without shielding, and had really no issues whatsoever. Now, it is also important to compare this to Lyney's existing teams. If we compare it to his prior highest shielding team, this was Lyney, Bennett, Xiangling, and Kazuha or Venti. Using Furina instead of the Anima unit is going to be about a 12% increase for the total team DPS. And of course, this number will go up a lot if you get Furina's constellations, whereas Venti and Kazuha's constellations don't actually do anything for Lyney. So for single target, I definitely think this should be Lyney's new strongest team. However, for AoE, without Kazuha or Venti, you have no grouping. Not all AoE scenarios will need grouping, but a lot will. So for those AoE scenarios where you do need grouping, you should probably stick with Kazuha or Venti instead of Furina. And then if you aren't comfortable playing Lyney without a shield, I wouldn't recommend using Furina with him either, since there is no room to replace anyone here with a shield. But again, I honestly don't think Lyney needs a shield as much as it's made out to be. I think it's kind of exaggerated how much he needs a shield, since he can front load so much damage. Plus, against non-boss enemies, he constantly has taunts as well. But yeah, this was a pretty short video because this was a pretty simple and easy to explain team. To summarize, Furina is really good for Lyney, and she should be an upgrade for single target as well as AoE. Unless you need grouping, then stick with a grouper instead of Furina. So if you liked today's video, please be sure to give a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please also be sure to comment down below letting me know your thoughts. Thanks. Bye.